Team Fortress 2 is an old game with a long history. Over time, many game modes have been added after its release with only 3 modes. To be exact, I'd say about 20 official ones are the current amount from what I know. These various game modes have very different fates compared to each other. Some have become core game modes that are loved, such as Payload and King of the Hill, while most of the rest have become mistreated, such as Payload Race and Special Delivery. One of these modes I feel has been mistreated the most by Valve is Arena. Despite being one of the first modes added, due to Valve's poor handling, it has ended up in a state where it has no servers that play it almost all the time. Making it extremely difficult to even get in a game of Arena mode in community servers. The current state of Arena is an extreme shame to me, as it is my favorite game mode. And I wish to explain to you why. Despite that, most others would probably not agree with me, as Arena has quite the polarizing reputation. An example of what I mean is, let's say you were to look up Arena mode on YouTube. Most of what you'd find either would be saying how the mode is bad or how it failed. Yet, when you look on other sites, you'll find people lamenting its loss. Something I am willing to admit is that as it currently is, it would be considered a failed game mode. But I don't think this is because of any flaws with the game mode itself, like others would have you believe, but instead because of its circumstances. That's why in this video I want to provide you the proper history of Arena mode so you can understand why this is the case. Due to Arena mode's poor state, I'm willing to bet that for the vast majority of you who are watching this is probably the first time you've heard about the mode. For those who already have, you probably haven't heard about it at all recently. With that in mind, I think a brief explanation of the mode is due. Arena mode was added in 2008 during the Heavy update, with only 5 maps on launch, with more being added in further till its discontinuation in 2016 in light of the Meteor Match release due to its incompatibility with casual mode. Unlike the vast majority of other game modes, there is no objective to capture. Instead, the goal of the mode is to kill all the players on the enemy team. Alongside this goal, to facilitate it, there is no respawning. Instead, you will be sent to a spectate menu upon death till the match ends. During a match of Arena, changing classes is not possible. Once the round starts, your current class and loadout you have equipped will be what you were stuck with till the end of the round. First blood is rewarded to the first person who kills the first enemy, which will result in them having 4 seconds of crit. On Arena maps, there is a distinct lack of health packs and ammo boxes, and the few left are smaller. This aspect is even apparent in maps that are ported from other modes. If 1 minute goes by without everyone in one of the teams dying, a capture point will open. If it is captured, it will automatically end the game, resulting in a victory for the team who captured it. The story starts before Arena, as it's important to understand the context behind Arena's addition into the game back then. Team Fortress started as a Quake mod until it released as its own game called Team Fortress Classic in 1999. In TFC, when it comes to non-community made game modes, there were Capture the Flag, Control Points, Escort, and Deathmatch. Deathmatch was played by copying Half-Life Deathmatch maps to the Team Fortress Classic map folder. It functioned as a 4-team deathmatch game mode. In the transition from TFC to TF2, out of these game modes, only Capture the Flag and Control Points were kept. This meant, on release, Team Fortress 2 had less modes than Team Fortress Classic. To rectify this, in 2008 2 modes were added. Payload was TF2's answer to the people who wanted an escort mode, as it was a mode that had a similar concept while addressing the issues of the mode. In the next update, which was the Heavy update, Valve shipped their mode for TF2's Deathmatch mode. This is Arena. The reason Deathmatch was not brought to TF2, and instead a new game mode was made in its place, was because not only was it a 4-team game mode, which spreads people thin, but it also made certain classes much worse than others and removed the need for teamwork to an extent that developers wished to avoid. In Arena, due to the lack of respawns, defense and offense are strictly necessary, putting extreme emphasis on your team and each of their roles. Not only was Arena a step into the past through its adaptation of TFC's Deathmatch into TF2, but it was also a step forward as Arena served as the debut of a new evolution of TF2's art style that broadened it to new horizons that expanded on the carefully crafted world of TF2. A sense of fatigue was felt when it came to TF2's limited range of environments at the time, so it was decided to create a new environment for the upcoming map at the time, Arena Lumberyard. The new team had to be a departure from the current look without being so different that the characters felt out of place in it. We also wanted to leverage some of the content from our existing environments, since crafting every asset from scratch would mean we'd be moving the release beyond Valve time and into the realm of geologic time. Given these goals and constraints, we settled on the Alpine team for two reasons: its green foliage and blue-grey rocks. Let us introduce a new, cooler color palette to the game, and the lumber mill, mining camp, buildings fitted our existing structures, unlike something ridiculous and stupid like, a heavily populated theme park you can literally hear children in. Anyway, for Arena Lumberyard, the goal was to establish a clear difference between the two sides of the map. One side climbs up towards a large mountain peak, and the other dips down a vast valley. Arena was released as a mode that would capitalize on the strengths of Deathmatch while not falling into its pitfalls. This meant that it would keep the class diversity of TF2 while focusing on the goals around combat between two teams, where other game modes lean towards a broad overall strategy for the team over a number of lives, concentrating on the tactical choices the teams make in a single fight. Rounds tend to be very fast and highly competitive, with an emphasis on your team's class makeup and your plan to counter the opposing team's class choices. This was great for smaller matches of 3 versus 3, while still comfortably supporting huge knockdown 12 on 12 brawls. On release, the mode was received with mixed opinions. Some loved it and others hated it. The reason for this high contrast of opinions is because of many aspects of this mode, like its fast pace, its concentration on tactical choices and highly competitive nature, caused the mode to, while still playing into TF2's strengths, fundamentally stray from what made the other game modes great to pave its own path. This led it to not only be fundamentally niche, but also alienate lots of TF2 players. Not only that, but people didn't like having to spectate after that. I'm a huge fan of the mode, and even I will admit this is a strong flaw with it. Later on in the next update, being the Scout update, Valve added some extra features to make the mode more well-rounded that let it play into its strengths further, such as First Blood. Not only that, but they added a new map called Watchtower. Originally, this map was called Colosseum, and it didn't have the tower. Luckily, Valve rectified this mortal sin and added the beautiful tower, and with it, the best mechanic in TF2, breakable glass.
Oh no! Our table! It's broken!
Within the next update, the Sniper vs Spy update, the maps Sawmill and Nucleus were added. Not only that, but in the next update after that, the map Off Blast was added. You may notice that during this point, every single update at least had one Arena map added. This is the point in Arena's lifetime where it was being regularly supported by Valve, but unfortunately this is soon to change. Before that, something to note for future reference is that at this time a community game mode built of Arena was created called Versus Saxon Hale, where a team fights one player who is a boss. Considering this is a video about Arena and its history, it probably seems like this is useless information, as this is about a different game mode, and it's a community mode, so it does not apply to the base game. But this mode is built of Arena, as it relies on it for its single life system that makes the mode work at its core. While this does link it to Arena, at the end it's still a community mode, so what's the deal? Well, you'll have to see later, so put a pin in this side note for later. Valve, seeing the release of the mode, and their later editions saw a deep potential in the mode's various aspects, but wished to avoid the aspects of the mode that made it so polarizing. This mentality caused them to create King of the Hill in the class's updates. We wanted a game mode that had an intense centralized experience with a quick player turnaround. We liked some of the facets of arena mode, but it was clear many players don't like to wait for the next round to play. To achieve this goal, they used Arena as a base and changed and removed features to create the experience they wanted, such as how they made the point that opens up at the end of Arena the central objective, while also adding team timers to keep a fast pace with constant pressure. The clearest sign of this mentality is on the release of COT. Most of COT's maps were originally Arena maps. Valve prototyped the mode on Arena maps to use them as a base to see what worked and what didn't, until they felt confident enough to make the first COT exclusive map, Viaduct. Other than Viaduct, on release, every other map was ported from Arena, being Nucleus and Sawmill. Not only that, but within TF2, there are many cut King of the Hill maps that are conversions of Arena. These are King of the Hill Granary, King of the Hill Lumberyard, King of the Hill Ravine, and King of the Hill Well, further showing how integral Arena was to COT's development. Till this point in TF2's history, Arena was being supported heavily, getting content in every update, but past the classless update, it gets totally abandoned till 2015 by Valve, leaving the amount of content it got to decrease heavily, and all of it only being community made, as Valve will not make any content for it anymore.
I keep having this nagging feeling that I've forgotten something.
Hey, if you forgot it, it probably wasn't all that important.
Yeah, I guess.
After years of nothing for 30 updates, Arena would finally get updated in the Invasion updates in 2015. It took an entire community update for Valve to do literally anything with this mode outside of bug fixes. In the update, a new map was added called Briar, which won 3rd place in the Merc vs Aliens mapping contest. This contest is where Valve got most of the maps for the update, and it will come up again. Briar originally started as a symmetrical 4 control point map, where teams had to capture both middle points before attacking the final point. When it comes to the Invasion update, Briar is not the only time Arena was relevant when it came to the update, as within the update a new mode was added with the release of a map that won 2nd place in the Mercs vs Aliens mapping contest. This map was Watergate, and the new mode it shipped with was Player Destruction. It was found in an interview with the main creator of the map, Egan, who linked the origin of Player Destruction to Arena. In 2014, he was a big fan of Arena, but over time he felt he noticed flaws that held the mode back. These were that dying and having to wait for the next round wasn't fun, and it's not friendly to inexperienced players. And so he wished to create a mode that capitalized on Arena's biggest advantages to him, which was its intimate player interactions while circumventing its flaws. This question and the recent release of Robot Destruction led him to Player Destruction as an answer. It does this by making the resources something collected after a player's death instead of the lives themselves. Unfortunately, post the Invasion update, Valve forgets about Arena again. Not only that, it gets worse. When Meteor Match released in 2016, Valve totally removed Arena completely from the matchmaker, despite adding onto it a year ago. This makes little sense to me, but to be fair, nothing in that update makes sense. But this change made it that the mode could only be found from community servers that were heavily killed off with the update. This basically led to nobody new learning about the mode, as to play it you had to already know about it and actively look for it. This spelled Arena's doom to the state it is now, as an already niche mode that will only continue to lose players over time as people leave the game and it is not replenished, as the barrier to learning of the mode's existence is so high due to it being so rare to find in a very scarce community server ecosystem. Arena remained in a state of being unused till Scream Fortress 2021, where a map that can be played during the event was added. This map is Graveyard. It is a reskin of Lumberyard, but with spells.
It's wizard time, motherfucker! Fireball!
and when a player dies, they become a miniature dispenser ghost that can passively heal teammates. From this point on, you will notice all the contributions to Arena limit to just Halloween maps with twists, while the base mode is left abandoned. While this somewhat helps as more people get the opportunity to get passively introduced to the mode, it's honestly barely anything. In Scream Fortress 2023, Perks was added. Its gimmick was that during the setup time of 30 seconds, the team receives sets of 3 randomly selected perks. You remember versus Saxon Hill? That community game mode I mentioned way back, that I said would be important for later? Well, this is later. Within 2023, it would be officially added to the base game. This shows the sheer impact Arena has had on TF2, that even at this point, its existence way back in 2008 is still having a great impact on additions in recent years. Anyways, back to Arena getting nothing but gimmicky Halloween maps. In Scream Fortress 2025, the map Afterlife was added. Its deal is that upon death, players are sent to the underworld, where they are tasked with killing another player, assisting in killing another player, or collecting a soul off the ground that spawns when there are no enemy players in the underworld. With the full history of Arena behind us, you should have a clear view of the state of Arena and what led it there. It was a once influential mode, and still is somewhat. Its descendants get to strive, while it has been sidelined by Valve, left to rot. It has little opportunity to leave its mark on new players, leading its player base to slowly dwindle as people leave with nobody to take their place. It's a real shame, as this mode is some of the most fun I've had in TF2. Some may say that including this mode in casual would solve this issue, but this is not the case. While more people may learn about the modes, they would get put off the modes, as Arena was fundamentally designed to amplify skill gaps between teams and have an extreme emphasis on momentum, so unbalanced games pass by very quickly and auto balance can kick in, letting the rest of the map timer be taken up by good games. Due to casual rule set, this makes Arena diametrically opposed in design principles compared to modern day Team Fortress 2. And this is not even mentioning stuff like weapon balance, which caused stuff like the Dead Ringer that lets Spy ignore one of the core functions of this mode in. Considering this, you can maybe understand why I'm making this video. I want more people to learn of this mode's existence and to give it a shot by checking it out at all. While I understand that this mode is very experimental and polarizing, I'm sure some people will find great joy in it like I have, and maybe a community can form that plays it more regularly. Honestly, I just want to play the mode more at all. I'm really desperate. After all, if I weren't, I would not be making this.